Yo guys, what's going on? Yorkie here. Welcome back to another video on the channel here where we're going to be taking a look today at FIFA 22's gameplay reveal trailer. I haven't watched this yet. I'm going to watch this now live. I'm going to piece it together though. We're not just going to literally watch the entire thing together. That would be a waste of time and it wouldn't get straight to the point, which is why you guys are here. First of all though, why this video is coming out today and not yesterday is yesterday I was live streaming the New World beta over on Twitch. I'm really enjoying it at the moment. We're going to be doing a lot more of that while the closed beta is out. Feel free to join the Twitch channel down below where we do football content, but we also do a lot of different content. It's a place for me to hang out with you guys, and if you like that, follow the Twitch channel as well as sub into the YouTube channel. If you are new around here, follow me on Twitter. Now we've got rid of all of that, let's talk about this official gameplay reveal. Now I have had a cheeky look on Twitter. The feedback didn't look too good, but that's Twitter, and Twitter is an evil cesspit of people that are evil and mean to each other. So maybe this is actually really good. I'm going to skim through this now. We'll take a look at it, and I'll highlight points that I think are interesting. Okay, so this is already an interesting format that they've done it like this. Now, what's interesting is it's EA Play Spotlight. You're not even going to be able to play the next-gen version on EA Play. I don't know. That just, I don't know. That still knocks me a little bit that PC are getting old gen. It still knocks me a little bit. But the problem is with this is I reckon the majority of what we're going to see is probably the hypermotion stuff. You're only going to get that on the new generation consoles and Stadia. So this might not apply to you if you're a PC user, but maybe some of this will cross over. So they've introduced everyone to the panel. I don't know any of them, but they're talking now about the hypermotion, which is... I mean, it's interesting, but the hypermotion stuff doesn't interest me that much because at the moment it just feels like bells and whistles. So basically, the sounds of it, the crux of the hypermotion technology is instead of just like taking clips and images of individual players like they usually used to do, this time they've taken clips and images of a team, well, recorded images and clips of the team in 11 versus 11 in order to make more realistic movement. You'll notice if you play FIFA 21, a lot of players will just stand there like this and they just won't move. They won't go to where the ball is. They won't pick up spaces that they probably should do. They won't really react. It does show that with this hypermotion, they've actually captured it 11 versus 11, i.e. there should be better off-ball movement and just better all-round player movement. So he's talking about the full-team authentic motion now. Now, the issue with this is I'm not sure if you still get that on old-gen or if this is a next-gen thing. This probably ties into the hypermotion, but basically what they're saying is because they captured 11 versus 11, there is a hell of a lot more animations going to be in this year's game, which we expected anyway. That was kind of on the tin when we knew that the hypermotion situation was coming, that there would be a lot more player animations, but I think the crux of what they're trying to get at here is that it's going to feel more realistic because there'll be more player animations, especially when they're close together. So we've actually got some gameplay here, which is nice to see. And what we're going to see here is Trent's going to switch the ball across the pitch, which, to be honest with you, on FIFA 21, you couldn't really do that. You genuinely couldn't play that ball. Now, you could play that ball on PES, and the problem is here is we will have a lot of comparisons. I play PES and FIFA, so for me, I'm going to have them comparisons. You might not. You might only care about FIFA, which is absolutely fine, but this kind of ball's nice to see. You couldn't really play switches, in my opinion, because the opposition would always be too close to you when you was trying to play one of those switches. It's nice to see that you can do that. Again, the problem is I'm not sure if you can only do this in next gen or if this is in every version. They probably should make that clear, I think, for everyone. So that's an interesting question that's just been asked. Basically, he's just asked, will players feel the same? Will you be able to ping the ball the same with, I don't know, someone from Wickham that you can with Messi? And we're kind of just getting a bit of a spiel. From my perspective, it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. So from what I'm gathering with what they've said is basically that there'll be a little bit, his words were there'll be a little bit of personality between the players. And for me, that doesn't feel like... Messi does feel different to other players on FIFA, but anyone who's quick feels the same. Anyone who's got good feet feels the same. Like, you know if a player's bad or slow. Really, in reality, it's slow. If a player's slow, they feel bad. In this feels the same. It's like Messi will be quicker to react to the football and blah, blah, blah. Any speed player is probably going to be the same. So I don't imagine we're actually going to see players playing massively different. So this tactical AI, again, looks really good here because the player movement looks... like that player movement is 1,000,000 times better than what we see now in FIFA 21. This is only for next gen from what he said. He says it's powered by the hypermotion by next gen. So we're not actually going to get to see this movement. If you're on old gen, you're not getting any of this niceness. So this is great to watch. It's great to see. But you're not going to get that. What worries me is you're still going to get the same poor AI. The defensive line here is moving far better as well, although they left him out far quite wide. But the movement does seem a lot better, I must admit. If that's what it's like on the tin when you get it, that movement is a lot better. So there's something I'm noticing here, right, in this sequence. There's still stagnant players. Like, we have a player here. Right here, I'll mouse over. I don't know who it is. It might be Raheem Sterling. Can't remember what number he wears for Man City. He kind of stays stagnant. There's still not much movement. And what I noticed when the ball's coming forward here, again, this is a work in progress. Ball comes forward here. We've got the arm goes up there for what I believe is Aguero. But he doesn't either come to the ball or make the run. So his arm's gone up, but he doesn't make a run or show to the ball. Which, I don't know. Why is his arm gone up? So watch the sequence just one more time. Because player movement for me on FIFA, that's one thing I've noticed this year that's the most frustrating thing. And we see it here. He shows, Raheem Sterling there shows for the ball when he's not in a particularly good position. He shows for it here. I mean, he's not in the world's worst position, but that pass is not a great pass to play. So that's the right move. But then Aguero does show for the ball, but makes zero movement. He's just stagnant there. He stands still. So I don't know. So it looks like, just like PES, you're going to see a lot more tactical changes this year. Your actual tactics are going to have a bit more of an impact. They do have a little bit of an impact on this year's game, but it doesn't feel like much. Like, again, we were liking a lot to PES. And PES has really good tactical instructions where you feel like you use them and you see a difference in the way you play. You only notice that a tiny bit in FIFA. It'd be nice to see if there's much more change. You can actually have a style. You'll have a style of football, which will also enhance when you play against the AI, because they'll have a style as well that you're playing against, which will make it more interesting. You don't want to play against Stoke and they feel like Barcelona, but we've all been there where you play against them and for the last 5 minutes, if you 1-0 up, they play as if they're the best team in the world. We've got a corner here and the game looks nice. The collisions do look a little bit cleaner there. Like, that collision was much cleaner. I like that. I like seeing that the collisions are going to be a bit better. I mean, that wasn't too bad as well. I mean, his arm was a little bit out there, but they don't really do handballs in the box. But this does look, the movement there looks better. What I'm watching there looks better. The fact that he makes that run for the header, and there was more than just like one player in the box. You know, obviously Marcelo's not playing as a striker. The fact that he makes that run, that was nice. So there's better first touches, but I mean, we've heard that before. We've heard that before, haven't we? They're just calling it composed ball control now. We've had the first touch. Wasn't the first touch thing like a couple of years ago? It was the new big thing. And if we're being honest, it's a bit dopey. The new first touch thing's a bit dopey. So, I mean, that looked good. He could move, like, he could chest himself away. The cross is there, like the defensive AI there for that cross, though. The defensive AI, he's the favourite to win the ball. The fullback here is the favourite to move the ball. You just have to move across. It looks like you're still going to be stuck in that little animation. I'm not sold on this first touch situation. We just watched the entire first touch bit. I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on it whatsoever. It just seems very much like what we saw when the other version of the new first touch control came out, and quick control dribbling, and it feels very much, or at least it's coming across exactly the same as what I watched for that. So they've humanized the players. So basically, you're going to see more player reactions. We saw it then in some gameplay that Raheem Sterling, players were calling for the ball more, which is something you don't actually see in FIFA, which would be nice to see, players calling for the ball more. My issue is the two calls that we saw, though, in that game before weren't good calls. Like, he's pointing where he wants the ball here. He's pointing way too early. He's behind him. He's behind him. He's behind the right back, I think this will be. He's behind the right back and he's already calling for the ball. That's just not... That's dumb. That's just dumb. He's calling for the ball when he's got two defenders. You play that ball when he calls for it, right? If you're using that... So this isn't too bad of a call. That's not too bad of a call. But then this one just shows that there's... Whatever player is next to you is just always going to put his arm out and call for the ball. I imagine that's what's going to happen now. No matter what player is next to you, they're always going to call for the ball. So we've seen two sequences here, right? He plays the ball in here, and then the player calls for the ball. And then he passes it off again, and then the same player calls for the ball as soon as he's passed it. Which just, I mean, that's just not right. That's just not right. So as soon as this ball's passed, he calls for it. He's calling for it already. He's calling for it when he's in a really bad position. So, I mean, that's not very good in my opinion. They've got a clip here where they're trying to show how Haaland runs, but I mean, it's not... It's still... The motion still feels a little bit... I don't know. The motion still doesn't feel as fluid as a human being would fully move. I mean, it's a nice goal. It's a nice finish, right, from Haaland. He's a beast. So the biggest thing in this section, really, is player run animations and how much a player is going to call for the ball. And for me, the player calls already, I don't like them. They don't look good because they're calling for the ball when you shouldn't actually be passing the ball to him. I like the fact that a player might point to where they're going to make the run. That makes things easier. It means you can play the ball knowing the player is going to make that run, but I don't know. It's a bit frustrating. Okay, so this bit could be good because they're talking about goalkeepers. And the goalkeepers are awful. That's an easy save anyway. The goalkeepers are awful in FIFA 21, man. They've been bad for a few years, but near post goals are so easy to score. You should probably catch that, right? I don't know. It depends the pace of the ball's moving in. That's a better save. It's straight at him, though. Straight at him. I feel like we see these saves now still. The animations are much more fluid, but we still see that kind of save. I want to see... Let's see this one. That wasn't a save, though. He's fuming. I feel like one-on-one, you'll still always score. This is near post. Okay, that's better. If we see this in-game, you didn't really see that as much. We've got a save coming up here. I mean, the goalkeeper's positioning was pretty poor, but he saves it. Oh, he doesn't save it. It's probably because the goalkeeper's starting position is really weak. You can't see the full angle, but the goalkeeper's way too close to this near post. Well, hopefully, the goalkeepers are improved. I mean, I feel like this guy's been told what questions to ask because I'm so amazed at what depth you've got in to create a game that you've been creating now for however many years. Surprised you went so in depth for football. I don't know. It seems that he was told to ask maybe particular questions. That's how it's coming across anyway, but... The ball movement, they're saying, has improved, and the player movement should coincide with the ball movement, which is nice. So they're announcing a new mechanic here. Explosive sprint, apparently. So basically, correct me if I'm wrong, right? What he's just explained, right? So you would click the trigger again, like Pez. You double tap for a bigger sprint. You would double click the trigger, by the sounds of it, again for an explosive sprint. But we already have that. You flick that stick up, and you push the ball further forward. What's the difference? Nah, boys, I'm sorry. I genuinely don't want this to come across as if I'm bashing FIFA, because if you watch the channel, you know I've had a ton of enjoyment from FIFA 21 this year. And because I've had that enjoyment and it's important for me to have it on the channel, I want to see the game get better. But come on, boys. This is the new sprint. It's the same as flicking the stick forward. That is exactly the same as flicking the stick forward. There's no different. That is no different. They're putting this as something new. That's just him flicking the stick forward. No, boys, look at this. You can do this now. You just flick the stick forward. This is not new. That's not new. That entire section there of the explosive sprint is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It's already in the game, boys. It's already in the game. Right, so I've just watched it all. And to be honest with you, I mean, it wasn't a gameplay reveal. It wasn't a gameplay reveal. I feel like a better gameplay reveal would have just been talk to us while you're playing a full match. I would have liked that. That would have been interesting and pinpoint features. They've kind of handpicked and shown what they want you to see. That tends to be what you see with this. We won't know until we get our hands on the game. We really won't know, and you'll only know if you get your hands on the game that's powered by Hypermotion. So you won't know the majority of that unless you're getting your hands on that version of the game. But some of the stuff there was just repackaged, and I didn't like that. I don't like the new sprint thing. That really irritated me because it's in the game. You're speaking to us as if we're idiots and selling us something that's already there. It's been there for a while now as well. So I don't like that. I think that you've just changed the button. You've just changed the button mechanic for it. So you stop and then sprint, and it does that instead of flicking the trigger. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like it when companies recapture stuff and repackage it and then make it something new, because it's just not new. But I mean, overall, what I did see of the hypermotion stuff, if it is true and it is correct, does look better AI. The defensive movement was certainly a million times better. I don't like the showing for the ball. I think the calls that the players were making was stupid, but I did like the defensive movement. The defensive movement seemed way more fluid. The line moved as a line instead of as individuals, and I liked that. So hopefully that's something that they can just keep consistently growing on top of. But in terms of watching this and getting hyped for the new game, I just can't. Until I get myself an Xbox Series S, I can't play this version of the game anyway. And they didn't really show me anything there that made me go, wow. I'm looking forward to seeing the new gameplay features when it comes to career mode. That'll probably get me the most pumped about playing the game. It did with last year's game. But for now, there's nothing I've seen there that I'm like, this is really good. This just seems like a usual panel of patting each other on the back and saying, oh, wow, this is what's good, and not addressing what was wrong. It would be nice to see a panel where someone goes, this was bad last year, this is what we've done to improve it. I guess you're never going to say that because you're pointing out issues, but I don't know. Maybe that's just my personal standpoint. Again, I don't really want to just put FIFA down because I've played it a lot this year, enjoyed the game. I just want to see improvements made. I'll be the same with PES. It's just these are the two games you can liken it to. Some things PES do well, FIFA doesn't, vice versa. And yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating. But anyway, boys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, but it did seem like a lot of fluff. It seemed like a lot of bells and whistles and repackaging stuff. And a lot of the actual individual movement they showed us weren't actually in Match Engine. It was in those, just those red and blue player animations. So I'm not sure what to believe yet. I would have preferred they showed us a full match, if I'm being honest. I would have got a lot more from watching a full match while they talked about the game than them showing individual clips that just make the game look good. That never fills me with confidence. It just always makes me think, you're hiding stuff. But anyway, boys, that's it for this one. Take it easy. I appreciate the support as per usual. Keep your eyes peeled for more content coming on FIFA 2022 and, of course, PES 2022 as well when more information comes out. Basically, take care, take it easy, hydrate. It's bloody warm. I'll see you in the next one.